Good morning, boys and girls. Buenos dias, muchachos. Today is April 9th, 2020. Hoy es el 9 de abril, año 2020. Today, we are going to be learning about definite and indefinite articles, and we are going to start the first day of the grammar. So let's begin. Let's look at our objectives. It says students will be introduced to definite and indefinite articles in Spanish and practice its usage in grammar. Now, the do now says, what is the difference between the words alumno and alumna? I want you to take a minute. I want you to look at the two words alumno and alumna. Think back to the previous lessons, and in this pausing point, I want you to think about what is the difference between these two words. Ready? Pausing point. All right. Something you could have said is that if you look at the two words, the endings are different. You have alumno with an O at the end and alumna with an A at the end. When we looked at the previous lessons, we looked at differences between groups of people and how we say the words. One thing that I have been mentioning a lot in the previous lessons is that words that end with the O at the end are masculine words, and words that end with the A are feminine words. So both of these words mean student, and the only difference between them is the ending, which tells you what kind of a student it is: a male student, female student. Also, you might have also said in this question that if you look at something like alumno with an S at the end, you would have seen a group of both boys and girls. You can think back to the lesson when we had the picture of the boy and the girl in the group. All right. Directions. You're going to watch today's lesson, definite and indefinite articles. I will explain what these are. It's just a fancy way of saying something else. I want you to do a Quizlet today. So at the end of the lesson, I have a link for you to practice the definite and indefinite articles. I will post a link. It's already on the free Quizlet ones you can do, and you can pick whichever one you want. Obviously, just keep in mind that the ones at the very top are usually the better ones. The more you scroll down, you might find, because you got to remember, some teachers make these or people make these. The further you go down, it's probably not the more popular ones. So just keep that in mind. You can obviously sort it here by most recent, most relevant. I would stick to most relevant, free, and whichever one you find more appealing. But I do want you to do this. I put here that I want you to study these articles and do the Quizlet for about 5 to 10 minutes. So I do want you to do that today so you can get a little practice. And I will be attaching a worksheet as well. This is what the worksheet looks like. And you just have you don't have to do this. Again, this one's optional, but it'll be here for you to do if you want. Okay. I also want to thank you guys for completing the exit tickets. The majority of you have turned them in. I'm very pleased at the fact that the majority of you have turned them in. That's really good. I'm only missing a couple. That's fine. You have until the end of today. You have until midnight. Okay? Now, I do have a policy about work that is late. I will explain it more tomorrow. Hopefully, I don't have anyone that has a late. Obviously, some people, for whatever reason, might turn it in late. Hopefully not. I will explain my um, I will explain basically how I go about late assignments, and I will show you my little thing that I'm going to start attaching to the assignments at the bottom. If you're still working on the exit ticket, please make sure you turn it in by today. Today is the last day. Okay, let's get started with the lesson. Today we're going to look at what are called definite and indefinite articles. Now, basically, in a nutshell, definite and indefinite articles. We're going to start off talking about definite articles. Definite articles are the ways that you can say the word the, the, in Spanish. So in English, really quickly, in English, you use the word the for everything. For example, let's take a look at some objects here. Let's see. This is a picture of a book, right? So in English, what do you call this object? Blank book. The book, right? Okay, cool. The book. Uh, yeah. Oh, what do you call this animal? The giraffe, right? So you have an object, you have an animal so far, the giraffe, the book. All right. Okay. Now, what about this? Um, hmm. You call this kid right here blank child. The child, right? Okay. What if it was a girl? Still the child, right? Okay. Well, in Spanish, something else happens, and we're going to talk about that. It says artículos y sustantivos. The name of a person, place, or thing is a noun. In Spanish, every noun has a gender, either masculine or feminine. Yes, every noun. Almost all nouns that end in O are masculine, and almost all nouns that end in A are feminine. Emphasis on almost. There are exceptions to the rule, but the majority of the time, 95% of the time, this is the case. The in English is called a definite article. In Spanish, the definite article is either el or la. You use el with masculine nouns and la with feminine nouns. Okay, so right away you have options for the word the. If it's a masculine word, you're going to use el. So let's practice el. If it's a feminine word, la. Let's practice. El muchacho. La muchacha. Notice the ending matches up. O at the end goes with el. A at the end goes with la. Let's keep going with the el. El amigo. El curso. The boy, the friend, the course. These three words, boy, friend, and course, are masculine. So they go with this version of the word, the, el. Now, these three words here are feminine. You have muchacha, that's a girl. Amiga, that's a girl, that's a friend. I'm sorry, a friend, that's a girl. And escuela. Escuela means school, if you remember from the previous lesson. But yes, even the word school has a gender, and it's feminine. You have an A at the end. All these three words go with the word the in Spanish, which is la. So we have la muchacha, la amiga, la escuela. It says note that in the plural, more than one, so if you're talking about more than one object or one thing or one person, these words also become plural. So in English, you really just have to think about this word one time, whether it's singular, whether the word is plural. So basically, if you're talking about one object, more than one object, one thing, more than one thing, you still use only the word the boy, the boys, the girl, the girls. You're still using the word the. In Spanish, you have to think about the gender first, and then you have to think about singular plural. So let's take a look. In the plural, el becomes los, and la becomes las. A little advice, take a look at the ending of these two. Los and las has an S at the end. In English, when you put an S at the end of things, it makes them plural. So hopefully that'll help you to remember that these are the plural versions. And then look, it keeps things consistent. You have an O here, it's the masculine one. You have an A here, it's the feminine one. So let's take a look at some of these. Ready? Los muchachos, los amigos, los cursos, the boys, the friends, the courses. Notice how the ending is both masculine and plural, masculine and plural, masculine and plural. That is why we are using los and not el. Okay? Singular, plural. Both of these are masculine. Now let's look at the feminine way of saying these words. You have muchachas, which is girls, amigas, friends, and escuelas, schools. Las muchachas, las amigas, las escuelas. All right, if you need to go back, you can always pause the video, rewind it, practice a little more, all right? Basically, these four, el, la, los, and las, four different ways to say the word the. I know. Let's look up here. Comparaciones. In the United States, we use the word friend a great deal. Spanish speakers use the word amigo a great deal too, but un amigo is only used for a person they know well. If they don't know the person well, they say un conocido. Spanish speakers tend to use the word conocido more than we use the word acquaintance. So this is just like a little cultural thing on the side. It is true. So when we say amigo, we really mean like a friend, like somebody you really know well. If you don't know them, we really say like, oh, just like an acquaintance. That's just an acquaintance, um, like a buddy. But if we use the word amigo, then you know you're in basically. All right. Now we're gonna talk about the book. Kind of just keeps going, but I'm gonna make a little break right here. Okay. If you are taking notes, these that we just went over are called definite articles. I am going to show you some notes in a little bit of what these will look like. You can pause the video and you can take the same notes that I did if you want to. I will show you that at the end. But if you're taking notes now, these are the definite articles right here, these four. Let's keep going. Now we're going to talk about indefinite articles. It says the words a, an, and some, these three words, are called indefinite articles. Note that the following forms of the indefinite articles in Spanish. So sometimes you could be talking about something specific, all right? The book, the boy, the friend, the course, the school, something specific, something you see, something that you're talking about specifically. Other times you could be talking about something that is abstract, such as a friend. It could be any friend in the world. A boy, it could be any boy. It's not a specific one, right? So that's where these words come from. That's why they are called indefinite, because they're abstract. So let's take a look at them. There are four different versions. Just like there's four different versions for the word the, there is four different versions for these three words. We have un muchacho, un amigo. These are the singular version, masculine singular. Notice how we're still talking about amigo and muchacho, just like up here. Now we have unos muchachos, unos amigos. You have just said a friend, I'm sorry, a boy, a friend, some boys, some friends. Okay? Now let's do the feminine version. You have una, ready? Una muchacha, una amiga, unas muchachas, unas amigas. And again, you can rewind it and practice again. Una, un, unos, unas. Those are four different ways to say a and a some. Note that when a noun ends in e, because as you know, I told you, I gave you the heads up. Where is it? That are almost all nouns. 95% of the time, they will be masculine or feminine. But what if you come across a noun that ends in e? You have to learn whether it is masculine or feminine. In the classroom, I would show you the word for light. The word for light ends in a consonant. And sometimes I would show you another word that ends in E. Because when you get a consonant or an E at the end, you have to know the gender. But this you just learn as you get, I don't know, as you learn the language. So, for example, we have el continente. That means the continent. La clase, los continentes, and las clases. All you need to know about this is that if a word ends in E, you have to know the gender. So if I do use it for a formative or anything like that, I will let you know the gender. And I will use the word a lot. So it's not a surprise. The only one that you might have seen out of these four is maybe the word class. Notice how the word class ends in E. Class, as in like you're taking a class, is always feminine. Always. So it's always going to go with la. Or if you're talking about more than one class, less. Okay? All right. We're actually at the end of the new material. We're going to practice a little bit, and then I'll have you do the Quizlet and the other worksheet if you want to, optional. So let's take a look at this practice. What I'm going to do is I would like you to take out this is going to be a pausing point. This is going to be for you to practice. I want you to take out a piece of paper. You're going to look at these 8 words and you're going to complete with el, la, los, and las. So this is going to be a pausing point. Take out a piece of paper, or if you already have a piece of paper or something to write with, you can open up a new tab. I don't care what you do. Just take a couple of minutes to do this. It's good practice. All right. Trust me on this. So I'm going to go over the answers. I'm going to say pausing point. I'm going to give you some time and then I'll go over the answers. Ready? Pausing point. Okay, welcome back. Hopefully you did these or you try to do as many of these as you could. Now let's go over the answers. Number 1 should be el. This one right here. El amigo. Why? Because if you look at the end of the word amigo, which means friend, it ends with O. If a word ends with O, it tells you that it's masculine. And there's only one friend, no S at the end. So it's going to be el. All right? Muchacha. Muchacha should be la muchacha. This one right here. La. Why? Because look at the end of the word. Muchacha means friend. The ending of this word ends in A, which tells you it's feminine, and it's only one friend, so it's got to be la. Escuela should be la. Again, ends with A, just like muchacha, so you know it's either this one or this one. And then it's singular. There's no S at the end. So, la. Los alumnos. Why is it los? Because S at the end and O at the end. OS. O masculine, S plural. You go to the masculine ones and you choose the plural version. Okay? I'm going to go through the rest of them. Las amigas. Los muchachos. Los cursos. El alumno. So, check on these, see how you did. And it says expansion. Now repeat the words in the activity. So you're going to do the same 8 words, but this time, another pausing point. Instead of using the definite articles, so instead of saying the friend, the school, the students, you're going to change it to indefinite articles. So I want you to use these 4. Ready? Un, una, unos, unas. I want you to do this one as well. So ready? Use the indefinite articles for this part right here. Pausing point. Okay, I'm going to go over the answers. Ready? Un amigo. Una muchacha. Una escuela. Unos alumnos. Unas amigas. Unos muchachos. Unos cursos. Un alumno. And hopefully this helped to go over the answers. Now, you can also do the following. Right before we do the next exit ticket, which will be in a couple of days, it will have to do with this one. I'm going to give you the grammar notes. You can pause the video if you want, and you can write this down somewhere. I will give it to you eventually. Not yet, though. But basically, you see a chart of, and this chart can help you study, definite articles, the and the plural. You have your masculine, you have your feminine, the and the plural. Okay, and these are the four. If it's masculine, all right, and singular, el. Masculine and plural, los. You see? And the same thing with the indefinite articles. All right? So you can pause the video and write this down if you would like. Other than that, I would like you to do a Quizlet, and you can do the worksheet as optional. All right? The Quizlet, you don't have to spend too much time on it. It's just to get a little practice so you know which one's which. And that is the end of our video. I'm not going to do this activity. I'll let you guys do the Quizlet to practice. If you have any questions, please reach out to me during my office hours. I hope you guys have a great afternoon. Que tengan buenas tardes y nos vemos mañana. Hasta luego, muchachos. Chao.